Man United agenda, and it is Wednesday, and it's all about all the news and gossips that's going around Manchester United at the moment with the Glazers and the whistleblower at Manchester United, and players have come out and defended that haven't been saying anything about what's going on in the change room. So, guys, welcome to the Man United agenda. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United agenda. And always, I am Solo, and you got Rebel. You can see him today, ready to cause some trouble. On Monday, as always, and welcome back, Bath Time with Vaughan. How we doing, guys?
Yeah, not bad. You know what? I just want to say, I've just come. Well, all day it's been windy as hell. I mean, so much breeze going around, and I don't know if it's coming from gossip about Man U, but honestly, it's really blowing like a FO down here. It's bad. And my hat, you know me, I always wear hats and thing. My hat nearly blew off today when I went to the shop. So let's just hope it's just a breeze. Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of hot air Monday.
Exactly. which we are about to discuss. You know, hopefully we get
absolutely brilliant. And Bath Time, welcome back to the channel. As you guys in the chat now know, Bath Time is on tonight. So hello, Bath Time.
Hi lads, always a pleasure to be on. Hello everyone in chat, looking forward to it. Let's get cracking.
And guys, this is a whole story that's coming out now. Obviously, the gossip is that Joe Glazer could ruin the chance of Ten Hag coming to Manchester United. Ralph Rangnick obviously is very keen, according to the stories about it. So according to reports, it could spell the end of a plan for Rangnick to become Manchester United manager as the search for a new manager goes on. So, guys, let's kickstart and let's go to Rebel. Man United, it's almost become like a circus at the moment, isn't it, really? It's almost like 1 minute we get this manager. It's almost like, yes, guarantee we're getting this manager. Next minute we're getting that manager. Since these Glazers have been in at Manchester United, I've never known Man United as a club to be in such a disarray in such a long time.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that. I suppose with regards to the various managers that we've been linked with at the moment, there's always been a situation around United that players or personnel have been linked with us constantly. We remember the Guyton incident for about 10 years? Every summer without fail, Guyton was going to Manchester United. He never, ever was. But I think what's more disconcerting with this particular situation is that it is appearing that our manager, our interim manager, Ralph Rangnick, and the director of football, or whatever title you want to give him, Murta, have put their hat behind Ten Hag. And we are now looking at a situation where the people that are employed to make the footballing decisions by the owners are at their mercy by usage of a veto. If you were running a cake shop and you decide, you know what, I'm going to diversify and I'm going to open up a Pokemon trading center where I'm going to trade in all these trading cards. You haven't got a clue about Pokemon, so you hire the distinguished gentleman, Mr. OMONDI.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
To do the job for you. So he says, right, Earl, I've got 5 deals lined up here. They're superb deals. We get them in for $5,000 a pop. We can flip them for 10 in 6 months. But you say, no, I'm vetoing that without any basis or knowledge as to the why. This is the situation that it looks like that the Glazers are holding over Rangnick and Murta, both of whom have more knowledge on the topic that they're supposed to be deciding on.
Let's go Bath Time.
Yeah, what an amazing analogy, Rebel.
I'd say.
Yeah, the problem with that analogy, though, is that you don't need to understand the rules of Pokemon in order to sell Pokemon. Right? You know, no, I agree with you. There might be some culture around the Pokemons and all that kind of stuff that is beneficial to understand, but the rules of business are they're pretty ubiquitous and consistent across everything. I would think that the Glazers, I know it's very easy to score points off them and say they're awful and stuff. There are far, far worse owners than the Glazers out there. For me, at least, Newcastle United in particular. But I think it's all right to have candidates presented to the board, and for the board to say, lads, I'm not sure that this is the right guy. Like, we can see, like, Ragnick is not going to get the job, I think we can all agree on that at the moment. There's too much stuff is coming out from the club of various things that we'll get into later. But Ragnick doesn't have the trust. Ten Hag is quite a similar figure to Ragnick in the fact that he's from a league with a lesser reputation. He's never really managed anyone particularly big. And if you were going back to this Pokemon analogy, you want someone who's got experience running Pokemon. You don't bring someone in whose only experience is top trumps and hope they can make the step up if you're trying to make the biggest Pokemon shop in the world. So I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, that our board are taking an interest in who the manager is. But that's how I see it.
I just want to jump in there. As you know, I don't know much about the structure of and how this all works. I mean, that's why I'm leaving it to Rebel and Bath time on this show. But I think it doesn't undermine the people like below them who are making decisions, doesn't undermine the manager. And I'm hearing this a lot from fans. They're saying, oh, the Glazers, and I'm saying, well, what do the Glazers got to do with picking a team and being successful on the pitch? They leave that, they do their job. They do what they're good at, and let manager or the technical director or whatever do what they're good at. They employ them for starters. But Bath time just saying about board meetings and having discussions. But my question to you guys would be, what do the Glazers know to overturn decisions, or to say, like, for example, a couple of years ago, they vetoed Sancho. Dortmund said, right, if you don't pay 120 by this date, and made it clear that so the whole world knew about it. We're like, okay, if you don't pay 120 million or whatever by this date, then you can't have him, and that was the deal. And everyone knew about it. So we couldn't hide from it. And then we didn't sign him. We ended up signing him cheaper a year later, whatever. But it was out there. And then people were saying, well, why didn't we sign him? What was the difference between 5 or 10 million? Do you understand what I'm saying? So they obviously are hustlers and they're hustling for money. But sometimes I think for the benefit of the club, sometimes you have to spend a little bit extra for success. And I'm surely they must. I can't believe anyone would tell me the Glazers don't want success for the football club. They clearly do. But like I say, I think if you're undermining them and it's this sort of level and it's spilling out and it's coming out and we're having shows of it and with people discussing it and respectable things like the Athletic and thing are discussing it as well, it's making us look stupid. And it's just it gives a fuel to the fire for the fans as well, who already, I think most fans don't really understand that side of the business. I'm not undermining fans now. Obviously, I'm undermining people now. I think a lot of fans don't really understand that myself. But it fuels the fire, doesn't it? When you hear these sort of negative stuff about the Glazers, again, undermining management, undermining decisions and that kind of thing. So I just want to get to the bottom of it and just to get a bit better understanding about the whole situation.
With all due respect, though, on Monday, I actually don't think that they do have any interest in whether United is successful or not. I think the only motivation that the Glazer family has is pocketing the maximum amount of pounds out of the club that is humanly possible while maintaining a certain level because it's needed to generate that income.
You got to also remember as well, if the rumors are correct, when it was COVID, the pandemic, they actually took 120 million loan out as well to basically cover the cost of for people's jobs and things like that. So taking that much money out, but every single financial year they're taking 100 and something million out every year. So it just proved that they're more business than actually sort of worried about the club. But also we got to take in mind as well, and I do believe what Bath Time said, is other clubs out there who are worse off than Manchester United with owners out there as well. We cannot say this season they haven't put their money in their hands in their pocket. They have put their money in their thing, but the problem is the direction and the scouting. What they've done, I don't believe it's the right way they went with it. Like, don't get me wrong, bringing Ralph Rangnick in has been brilliant, but at the same time, could we have probably brought someone in who's very much similar to how the team set up on the Ole, but only tweak it a little bit, rather than bringing someone who's a coach in and basically giving them a 6 months, and then the players right now don't really care. Where you had a long-term manager who was announced to come in, who's going to be long-term, then that will happen is the players will then understand and build a relationship with. But right now, I don't think the Glazers got that correct either. I honestly don't. I don't know, Rebel.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to disagree with you on one point with regards to the outlay that was put in during the summer window. Yes, there was money spent, but that money was generated by Manchester United, by the brand that is Manchester United. Before the Glazers ever came to darken our door, Manchester United was able to generate its own transfer income. So whatever it spent, it made through its name. The Glazers haven't spent a penny of their own money since the day that they arrived in England and took over Old Trafford. They didn't even pay for the club. That was done by a deal that Woodward had with his former employer to set up a capital to make the purchase. And then once the deal was secured, they were able to transfer that loan into the company that was set up that holds Manchester United. So Manchester United, in effect, bought itself. The Glazer family have done nothing but take money out of it.
Bath time?
Yeah, well, there's quite a lot of points have been made there. And I think the first one that I'd like to address is about the appointment of the manager. I think that, like, the Glazers, right, are probably mainly about the bottom line. I also am with OMONDI, where I believe that they do want the best for the club, but because that it gets the best for them. But the biggest problem at Manchester United in their time has turned out to be one of succession. It's been the transition from Gill and Ferguson to Moyes and Woodward or Louis van Gaal and things like that. I'm quite encouraged that they're taking such a hands-on approach to the new manager, and that they're waiting for a new manager, the right manager, because a lot of our problems have stemmed from Ferguson's succession. Got the wrong manager in, we got the wrong chief executive in, and to be honest, I put more blame on Woodward than I do on the Glazers, because they're not putting out the cones and stuff like that. And I personally think that Americans love stadiums and that they would quite like to do up Old Trafford and have it as the crown jewel that it used to be. But so I think that's important that they're taking their time with their appointment. And the style of the appointment as well is very, very interesting, because we're transitioning Manchester United into a modern footballing team. Under Jose and Solskjaer, we were like, to use a boxing analogy, we were counterpunchers. And Ralph is trying to turn us into a pressure fighter, right? And what that means is that he's setting up the foundation for us to move into modern football. And so I think that, like, I am more sympathetic to the Glazers than most of us, because I don't believe in absolutes. I don't believe they're evil. I don't believe that they're good or bad or whatever. They are just businessmen that own our football club and want to run it as a business. And that, unfortunately, is just the modern day. And it's up to the players and the fans to keep the Manchester United spirit. And to be fair to them, that's why we have people like Fletcher and Solskjaer at the club, to keep that connection that has been going since Munich. But that's how I see it.
I agree a bit what Bath I'm saying. I think, like, if you're talking about boxing, the judges do score an aggression, and counter puncher could lose rounds. Occasionally come out with good, shot or something with a jar someone. But apart from that, you tend to lose rounds. Judges like aggression to win rounds in boxing. I do like that analogy, what you do say there. I do think as well, like you said, we are sort of in the dark ages. with our management, the way we style it, we play football, as you've illustrated so well, with your tactical breakdowns as well. It does say we need to develop and get back on track, because it's Champions League week, and look at Man City yesterday. I mean, how often does that happen in like a knockout round, a 4-5-0 whooping? I was watching the highlights, didn't even see one shot from Sporting, and we can talk about not having tackles in the first half, but it's that kind of thing. We're slipping behind. So whatever needs to be done by the board, like you said, I do think they have the best intention of the club. Success will breed a big name and endorse them as well, and they can sit back and say, look, who was it? The Arsenal owners were winning a big trophy the other day, the NFL, and they were
Arsenal fans that
soaking it all up, the Kroenke.
Yeah.
So they were soaking it up, and they would love to do that, I'm sure, at Old Trafford, and have the fans say, yes, thank you guys, you're the ones. So I do think they want to be winners.
Going up back where like Bartime said, because he has made lots of good points as well with the Glazers, but obviously they love the stadium. This is the first time since 2013 in the summer that Old Trafford, they're doing quite a lot of work to Old Trafford as well. So they are investing, or should I say, the money the club is making will be invested in redoing the stadium up a little bit. We don't know what part or how the stadium is going to look. So that's a positive start to it. The next thing I would probably say as well is with the manager as well, at least because there's stories going around that players want to decide who the manager is. And I think the problem with the Glazers, the reason why they're blocking a lot of stuff at the moment is it player power? Where the players are sitting there saying, I want to have this manager, I want to have this manager, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. And the Glazers is saying, enough is enough. We're not going to stand for this anymore. You guys got away far too much over the previous managers, and we're putting our foot down. Could that be a situation? And that's why they're sitting there coming out with this statement now?
Can I just actually follow up briefly with one of the points that Battime made, and then come into yours, Solo? Would you actually say then, Battime, given that you referenced Gill and Fergie, that actually Gill was the bigger loss to the way that Manchester United was run?
1,000,000%. I mean, what you must never forget is the Rock of Gibraltar and why we have the Glazers. But for me, like, Gill leaving the club at the same time as Ferguson was the worst decision the club has made since, I don't know, Di Maria. Like, it was, it's just, I think we all know why. It was an absolute farce to put Woodward and Moyes in charge of Manchester United.
The man who sacked the backroom staff the minute he walks in.
Yeah, it's just nonsense.
Yeah, go on, Rebel, what you were saying.
But to go then into your point with regards to player power, I think that is probably systemic to the way that we've done our transfer business, and it leads back to that whole Gale not getting a proper successful situation, in that we didn't do our proper research in seeing the type of player that we were bringing into our team. We weren't analysing our squad for our needs, because I remember towards the end of the Fergie era, we had a big problem in centre midfield, but we patched it over and we kind of kept it chugging along. And then eventually, not only do we have that problem in centre midfield, we also had a problem in centre back because Vidic and Rio aged quickly. And what we had at United now is a bunch of players that, to quote Ronaldo, has said they are unable to take criticism. He tried to pull them aside and do the same for them as was done for him by Giggs, Keane, Scholes, etc., back when he was in their shoes. And what we need to do a radical realignment of the thinking and the psyche of the players. And if they can't get with Manchester United badge as a team, then we don't need them.
You know what, though? Isn't that the case when you talk about the players not being on board with Ronaldo? Ronaldo's sort of covers. I saw a clip from Maldini where he was marking Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, R9. And he's gone through all these ages. He's marking George Weah at one stage. You know, you can go all the way back where Maldini's played since maybe 1990, all the way up, and all the great players he's played against. You know, so he must have seen a lot of change. And I think Ronaldo does cross over 2 generations as well. And it doesn't apply today. This sort of standard thing doesn't seem to apply. The same with, like, if you go to school, you talk about punishing. I remember when I arrived at a school, I moved there when I was a kid, arrived at the school, and the first day I got beaten in front of the whole class. What's going on?
Someone beat you. Someone beat you.
I beat my backside.
Wow.
And I was so embarrassed, you know. And
did they have a ladder?
And I had to take it in front of the whole class. He beat my backside, you know, like that. The teacher, I think, what's going on here? What is this all about? Another teacher used to string us about. When I tell people this, they say, you're lying. It can't be true. But it just shows you that was acceptable back then. It was acceptable back then, but it isn't now. You try that with kids now, they say, oh my God, you know, there'd be big uproar and everything. So things change. I think culture has changed, and it's about finding a way to tweak these players to get the best out of them. Whatever it may be, I don't know. Technique, you have to find a way. But it's true, they're not reacting well to some real harsh talk from a big brother who's got their best interest at heart.
Yeah, and going to that as well. Leading into that, do you guys? We're going to look at the structure now. So I'm going to put the structure of Manchester United Football Club under Sir Alex Ferguson. We know who the boss was. Yeah, we knew there was like about 3 guys underneath there who was sort of like the scouting. He didn't have a big sort of massive team behind him to run the club, because he was eyes, he was ears, he was everything about Manchester United. Sort of, you have the wrong conversation, the tea lady will be telling Alex Ferguson what you've said in the, you know what I mean? And that's how the club was run. At the moment, I just think there's too many cooks, and that spoiled the broth. And that's my honest opinion right now of Manchester United. There's far too many people. Right, we've got this problem. Right, let's employ this person. Rather than trying to fix the problem within, you employ someone else, and then that becomes another problem. So, Rebel, I'm going to give you this part to look at, and it's going to be the structure of Manchester United, and we can indulge in that a bit. Guys, everyone's watching. Thank you all. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. So that's the best I can do for you, Rebel.
No worries. I have it here on my phone as well. So obviously at the top of the tree, you have Joel Glazer, the owner and representative of the Glazer family. And directly under him is the newly appointed replacement for Ed Bumblewood, Richard Arnold, as chief executive. Now, this is where it gets interesting for me. Obviously, you can see there's, on the left-hand side, there's the coaching ticket, the manager, etc. And on the right-hand side, then you've got what we would assume is going to be eventually called the director of football. He's not currently titled as a football executive. But the interesting one is there, you notice there's a broken line between Ralph Rangnick and John Murtagh, which suggests that there's a level of parity in regards to their decision-making powers. You look back at the contract that was done with Ralph when he came in, there was a degree of power had to be given to him for him to agree to take the role. Now, I just want to say this graphic is from the Athletic publication, so credit to them for giving us this tree of the situation. But after Murtagh, this is where it gets weird for me, because they're talking about appointing a second in command to the director of football. Whether that's going to be Murtagh or Ralph after the end of the season, we'll wait and see. But we already have Darren Fletcher, who's down as a technical director, working to Murtagh. So if he is not that second person working on that side, then what is his actual role? Because we've been seeing him appear pitch side and involved in the day-to-day stuff with the squad. So if he's doing that, then how is he attached to the football executive decision-making tree, where you're looking at the long-term decisions that need to be made for running a football club? Then obviously, then breaking down after that, then you have your coaching staff, and then there's another link again then between head of academy on the executive side, Nick Cox, and the first team trainer for the youth development side. But if we're talking about appointing another face before we even know what exactly Ralph's role will be at the end of the season, something just doesn't seem right, and we're adding more cooks into that broth, to quote Solar.
Ready.
Well said. Well said. I understand.
You want to contract that?
Well, just looking at that graph again, right? This is classic corporate America. Like, whenever like a business gets in issues in America, there's a sort of stereotype of that they will add a layer of middle management to try and sort everything out. when I look at that, like the hierarchy we've just seen, I don't see any. Well, there's one big problem I see with it. It's a very petty problem, which is Sasha Lenz is not a psychologist. I do not know. He has an undergraduate from a dustbin in Dresden. I am more qualified than he is. He has a degree in sports science.
Time up.
Yeah, no, I'm not happy about this. Like, I'm going to report him to Brexit people. Like, false visa. Science means science. But like looking at that, I don't really have an issue with that. I believe that Liverpool, Manchester City, Brighton all have a very similar setup of a sort of chief director and then an assistant director, like Tiki Bergstein or someone like that do it. I think that we're actually copying successful models from football clubs that we like the look of. I mean, I don't know about you, Mondi, but like looking at just loads of people with titles, I don't think that that's a big issue. I don't think that's responsible for Bruno leaving gaps.
No, what highlights from that for me is what Rebel said about the dual sort of job role for Murta and Ralph at the moment, and what's going to happen there. I mean, I'm sure they must know these guys want to keep their jobs. Surely they're being paid a lot of money, and I don't know if that's the structure. And that's what I was going to ask. If that's the structure, then that's cool. But what's going to happen with Ralph? Because Ralph's going to come in as a consultancy role or anything. But can he consult to say, I want that job, or I want John's job, or I want someone else's job? Because as we know, he's had various jobs in the structure of a football club. But one thing I would say is like going back to Fergie. Fergie did really have a good running or understanding of how to run a club, and he did it really well. And I think when you've got like too many people, it's like even with like 11-a-side football club, look how hard it is to get them all on the same page and playing the same tune. It's difficult. So when you've got a board full of people and a big long table and everyone there with their own kind of agenda and their own kind of interests, I think it does sort of I don't like it. I would like to see it's smaller and to bring in someone assistant to someone like for whatever that role was, bringing someone to be below him. And what's it for? What's the purpose? And the thing is, we as the public and fans, we don't really get a say in this. There's a lot of like, even my organisation where I work, I see it's like a big house of, I'm going to say who they are. But cards. It's like a brotherhood. Yeah, it's like a brotherhood where people come in and say, "I've got a job going here. Do you want to cover this for 6 months?" And then we get this. We hear email saying this new guy's coming and he's taking over. We don't know how much they're getting paid or anything like that. But it just seems like all this stuff goes on above our heads that we don't know about, but we just have to accept. And why can't the fans be on the board meeting, for example? Then they can get a bit more clarity about what's going on, and they can feed back to the fan club or whatever to us. So we have a credible source to say, look, they're doing A, B, and C. I don't like the way this is going, because at the moment, everything's done above our head and it's sort of undermining the whole of the fan base as well. So I just would like to see a smaller structure. Maybe it's not successful, but just say I think it's more safer. You get more trustworthy. Look at our team at Man United Agenda. You're part of the brotherhood now. At bath time. Do you understand? We trust and we like you. Do you see what I'm saying?
I like you lot as well.
Just about OMONDI.
But I'm going to disagree with you about something here.
Oh God! Right, guys. Well, let's kickstart. Listen, yeah. I promise you, I did not know this. I didn't know I had a long lost son.
You've been throwing down wood for a long time.
Can I just make one quick rebuttal to Monday's point, just to kind of finish off that? And I think Bat Time might be on the same page as me on this particular issue. I don't specifically have a problem with the appointment of somebody working to a director of football. But what I do question then is, if that is what we need, what is the role of Darren Fletcher? What do we use him for? Because that's supposed to be...
What's his title again, please? Darren Fletcher's title.
Technical director, isn't it?
Technical director.
Well, first of all, I think Fletcher is actually the most qualified of all the backroom staff that we have on the bench.
Why? Why would you say that?
Because
what if he's over there? That's fine.
Because Chris Armas is a PE teacher, and that is... I'm not joking.
You're feeding into the rumours.
No, I've checked. No, bruv, I've checked. His qualification is that he is a PE teacher. He's a high school PE teacher that went to New York Red Bulls and progressed from there. Like, he is genuinely a PE teacher.
Can I counter that?
Okay.
Your qualification is in what you do for your main job.
Yes.
But but you can still deliver a great tactical analysis, which is probably on par, if not better, than some of these coaches out there.
Completely agree. But
thank you.
What I disagree with a lot here is it's 2 points. One is Ferguson had an enormous team around him, and he didn't take training. He had massive scout teams. Like he was like obviously the figurehead of the club. But when you compare him to people such as Mourinho, they had centralized power within the club, and that's what you're asking for. You're asking for a concentration of power. We have given that to most of our managers since Ferguson, and it has left us with enormous legacy costs, such as, De Gea, Maguire, all these players that don't fit into a system, as it were. By having a more decentralized approach to the football club, we can have a more consistent and long-lasting philosophy, which is what Rangnick is there to do. Right, so if you look at Brendan Rodgers was at Swansea, they never called them managers. They called them head coaches because they kept the same philosophy all the way through. So I actually think that the decentralization of power at the club is quite a good thing.
Yeah. Actually, that time you raised quite a good point. Actually, there has been a lot of retained staff even since the Fergie era, because we did a show not too long ago where we actually went back through all our coaches, and some of them were there as remnants of Fergie staff. Yeah. Then we had Moyes' staff bit thrown in on top, but there was a few of them hanging around. There was a few of Louis van Gaal's staff. So our bloated staff bill is as a result of managers that are coming in are not clearing out what they don't need or what they want to upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Right. So we're going to switch up play now. OMONDI, would you mind just going through some of these comments, please?
There's loads. All right, say hi to Silver Fox. I think he's claiming to be your daddy or son.
I think it is Silver Fox on the wind-up.
I want to say hi to Alexandro all the way from Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, baby.
Saragon's in the house as well. Saragon, here we go. Good point here. It says centralized power in Tampa head office. Louis van Gaal had to get stuff cleared by the Glazers down to the team bus or the training ground lights. My gosh. A lot of wisdom in here about the club that I really don't understand. Sood82, how you doing? Sood82 says, no plan after Fergie. Worst day, giving power to these cretins. Mark Edmonds in the house as well, all the way from Australia.
Mark.
Vaughan is doing good, different view. Yep.
Brilliant.
That's why we have on the show.
Can I just put this out there, guys?
Yeah, go ahead, go.
We will be setting up a phone number very soon, so you guys can contact us on WhatsApp. And also, if you would like to feature, just let us know. Everyone in the chat.
Going back all the way to Australia again from Mark, he says stock exchange price is pegged to the value of the squad, thus resigning.
It's dropped massively.
Resigning average players in big contracts. All right. Player power happens because they know their contract is bigger and longer than the manager. Good. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I sort of understand that. Mehdi, how you doing? Mehdi's in the house. Would you rather have owners from City or Newcastle? Asked that to Mark Edmond. They had a good discussion there. That would ruin everything for me. So I thought we were saying we were copying the structure of other clubs. Is that the same structure? Do we have the same structure as City, for example?
No, City, that's what they've got. They've got that structure, though.
But I think they're referring to the actual owners of the, like, Mohammed bin Salman and their antics compared to the Glazers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's much earlier.
Matthew Bassett is calling them cretins as well. He also says, I've always had my doubts, even when they appointed Darren and John as director of football and technical director. So there's always been a question mark for these guys. And this was Matthew says these bloody American owners have no clue how to run a football club. They do with American football club. I mean, they just won the NFL, didn't they? What do you call it? The Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then last comment there for you, OMONDI, before we move on.
So is it Suze82? So too much player power. I knew that was coming. I'll start again. Too much player power, because it make me laugh. Too much player power, PR, social media. What our club is now a business for clicks. Is that what I mean, like trending stuff? Like
groups.
Sorry, I missed it. I didn't finish that. Can we go back?
No, there's this one here. Oh.
I didn't finish. Anyway,
Sorry.
I'll read this while we're looking for Sue. Alexander says, I think the team's going through therapy stages. Which, what do you think? I agree on that one. Ralph is there, got us on a couch and healing us.
When I get that feeling.
Need proper football people running the show. Great show, good chat. Yeah, I do agree. It's really interesting. I'm learning a lot today.
I'm learning as well. I'm trying to anyway.
Sorry,
By the time I finish their bath time, I'll have all the information. I'll have every single information.
Finally, final copy here from Mehdi. He said the only problem I have with Vaughan is his hate towards De Gea. No, you go and check out. I agree with Vaughan. I have to agree with him and what he's saying.
I don't agree with none of you lot. I don't agree with neither of you, so it's fine.
Can I just say, before you go on to the next bit of business, that Inter Milan are absolutely tearing shreds into Liverpool.
No way.
Really?
Anyway, that's
nice.
Watch after. Wow.
Don't worry, we'll worry about it afterwards. We're going to the next subject. The next subject is we had a whistleblower one, but now there's more rumors coming out. There's apparently the problem is at Manchester United is the English players have a big agenda against Cristiano Ronaldo.
Dun, dun.
So let's kickstart it, guys. Now obviously Man United and the players, I'm gonna say not picking on players, but especially the English players this season, from whatever hangover they're having at the moment at Man United. Last season, we called in Luke Shaw, Shordinho. We were talking about Wan-Bissaka. Probably Monday, I know Monday had his doubts with him about him going down to grounds easily and things like that. But when it comes to one-on-one defending, I don't think there was anyone better than him last season in the Premier League. Whether or not anyone agree with me or not, I don't know. Also, you had the whole thing with Harry Maguire. I never believed in Harry Maguire, but towards the end of the season, I sort of changed my mind a little bit about him. So, guys, and what's going on right now at Manchester United, every single day or every other day, it seems there's some sort of rumor being leaked out of the changing room. What the hell's going on?
Well, for me, I think let's just go on the basis that we don't know, which we don't, the English players are involved in calling out Cristiano Ronaldo. Let's list off the few that we know that are playing for United. Henderson can't get into the team at the moment for whatever reason. Wan-Bissaka has now been pushed out by Dalot. Maguire has been less than perfect this season. We've got Rashford, who again is also floating in and out in inconsistencies. So all the English players that are complaining about Cristiano Ronaldo's performance, I don't think there's any English player in Manchester United that could pick up a rock inside the glass house and throw it.
Great point. While you were saying that, I was thinking, well, what English players are playing well? And you're right. There's not many. You mentioned the internationals, Rashford.
Jadon Sancho, take it back. He's playing well.
Oh, yeah. But,
no.
Alanga.
Alanga as well, yeah.
Is Alanga English? He's Swedish, isn't he?
Is he?
No, he's Swedish. He's Swedish.
His dad's Swedish, or his dad's African.
That's right. The song, he comes from Scandinavia. Yeah. You're right.
So English players aren't playing too well, but I think one thing, look, Ronaldo, you can't slap him up or say anything negative about him. In football, what I found anyway, when I was growing up in football, it's about when you go to clubs, they want to know your CV. What have you done? It's all about that. What have you done? What's your CV? Who you played for? That's how you get about. That's how you get from club to club. Not necessarily on your abilities. Like, oh, what do you know? Who do you know? Oh, I know John, who used to coach me down here, or I used to play down this club and this club. That's how it works. And it's about their reputations.
Word of mouth.
If anyone's got the biggest reputation, it's Ronaldo. So I'm surprised. I thought when he came into the club, I thought these guys would get on board and it would change the whole culture of the club. And all these players would change their attitude, get more professional, stop going out late at night, start eating properly, just like midnight. And it doesn't seem to happen. It's rubbing them up the wrong way. So I think the players need to switch up their attitude, because just like how football runs internally with that CV kind of identity, he's got a CV. Shut your mouth and listen to the man. Unless you've done better than him, there's nothing you can say, because that's how they treat managers as well. Who's this guy? What's he done? Oh, he's Ted Lasso. Look, that's a prime example there. Oh, he's making a joke out of him. What's he done? What, played in America or coached in America? he doesn't know about this, that kind of thing. When really he might know a lot more than any other coach they've ever coached with before. So I think they need to have a lot more respect. And this is what happens in football. And they don't have respect. That's the culture. That's how it runs. Who do you know? And we're seeing that right now. But I'm shocked by it because it's Ronaldo.
Bath time. Your time. Take it away, sir.
Cheers, mate. Well, there's a couple of things there. The first thing that comes to mind is that this is a problem that Ronaldo has had at 3 clubs now. He had it at Real Madrid, he had it at Juventus, and he's had it at Manchester United, where a combination of his standards and his demand for the rest of the team to sacrifice themselves for him has led to unhappy camps, right? So I do agree with everyone that Ronaldo has done so much in the game and is genuinely he's like a living legend. He's like a demigod. It's like Hercules walking among us. It's amazing. But his attitude does annoy a lot of people, right? I personally think that it's probably like, although I love the story about Luke Shaw not having custard because Ronaldo didn't have custard, like that's fantastic. I think that the two things that seem to be consistently coming out is that Maguire appears to be undermined as the captain. Like I think that the fan base in general doesn't really see him as a captain. And there does appear to be an issue between him and Maguire. The second thing, however, is we all gossip, we all talk about our boss and stuff, and they're basically school kids. The United squad, you all had nicknames for your teacher and things like that. And United, like we're the biggest club in the English-speaking world by a considerable distance. If you print anything about United, it sells. So, like, the journalists are chatting to Luke Shaw, and Luke Shaw, I don't know if this is true or not, but Luke Shaw thinks it's funny to go, yeah, that American. He's like that other American I know in football. Yeah, Lasso. Yeah. And then it gets printed out. Luke Shaw calls him Ted Lasso and steals his headphones and bog flushes him or something. Like, it's just, I think it's a lot of nonsense. But I also think conflict is good. I think it helps move the wheels of progress. Like, I think people fighting with each other, caring about the club and trying to get it forward this is how you get stuff to move on. I don't want to die a slow, like, catatonic death as we slip down like Arsenal or Villa or Forest or Derby or all these other fallen giants. I'm pleased that Maguire and Ronaldo are decking each other in training and fighting about the club, because that's what I'd be doing, and that's the way I see it.
Though,
well done.
On Harry Maguire, you do mention about the fan base and viewing him as a captain. The day that he threw the captain's armband onto the ground, which should have been the last day that he ever touched it, to be honest with you, and that is at fault from the coaching side that they didn't strip him there and then as part of showing a lack of respect for the position that he held. But as you said, it cannot but be healthy for people to be fully flared up in training and at each other's throats, because they do strive to get the best out of each other. Now, I think where it falls into a bad area is where it becomes the reason for the driving for extra performance is to make that player a better player. So it shouldn't be about boosting Ronaldo's stats. It should be about Ronaldo wanting the performance of the team lifted to a higher standard for the purpose of the team playing better as a collective.
Guys, in the comments, there's 15 watching, but there's only 16 likes. Just hit that like button.
To the left.
Everybody's talking to the left. There you go, Silver Fox. Armando, would you mind hitting some of these comments, please? We've got some really good comments in there. There's some about Ronaldo should be gone as well. Don't know about that.
First one, like, to our special guest, this has come from Silver Fox, who does the Army TV. He's saying Vaughan is a breath of fresh air, I must admit. And a thumbs up for you, Vaughan. Honestly, what you just said as well.
Thanks, lads.
I'll give you a clap on that. That was hit the spot. Lostella, this is a coach, FC Phoenix, a good friend of mine as well. He says Ronaldo has Michael Jordan syndrome. There's no I in team, but there is in win. Okay, I've never heard that one. That's a good one. Either keep up or get left behind. Okay, you're endorsing Ronaldo. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. He's a big fan of Ronaldo as well, a top coach and an ex-top player as well. I don't know if he's still playing. Get your boots back on, please, Dre, if you don't mind. Because
don't do that. I heard Amon is trying to get fit and it's not happening.
Sue says, Giggs' goals played into their 40s were great, but they didn't play every game. How they did it, that's how they did it. He will do well in the Champions League. Our team's not strong enough to support him. Okay, so very views here. Mark says Maguire can please himself. Ronaldo delivers. Okay. And going back again, Silver Fox. I'm here waiting for Solo to spit some bars. That might fire. Have you got any bars today, Solo?
No, I've run out of them so far.
This is an interesting one from Alexandra. He says, free the genius. Let him roam like a shark. He is not a number 9. Someone said that yesterday because he scored his goal from just outside. Was it outside the box he scored yesterday?
Yeah, be it free players. Yeah,
just outside on the cusp of the
D,
box.
on the cuff of the D.
Yeah, but it's the first time I think he scored out from outside the box this season. He usually scores his goals inside, tap-ins, that sort of thing, because his movement's great. And
Monday, I'm sorry, I was looking for that's for you quickly.
There is Monday dogs, plural. I've got 2 dogs. Yeah, they are stars. I love them so much. And they can't wait for me to go walking. So just hurry up this show. Come on, let's get on with this.
Cookie moves more than Match does.
Well. So, guys, if you're liking 15 in the chat, please like, please share, please subscribe. And let's hit it now and find out where, Vaughan, where can we find you, sir?
I don't know. I have a YouTube channel. It's called Bath Time with Vaughan, and I'm on Twitter, but I don't know the address. And to be honest, you don't want to. You don't like. If you want to talk to me in the comments.
Bath Time, actually, before you do move on, what do you think of this comment there from Susie?
Well, I really like Sue's profile picture, to be honest. That is absolutely class. If Poch's our next manager, give up. I like Pochettino. I think that he would be a better appointment than Ten Hag. My concerns with Poch are his lack of width. Although, having seen a little bit of PSG Real Madrid last night, his use of fullbacks I thought was great. He provided a huge amount of width using them. I think
look at the fullbacks.
Yeah, I think he's the safe choice as the next Manchester United manager. I have a lot of concerns about Ten Hag, and at the moment with Ralph Rangnick, I don't know if you've seen Breaking Bad, right? But in Breaking Bad, there's a guy who, when he kills people, he takes on a slight aspect to their character. So he'll eat sandwiches without the crust or drink whiskey without ice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go on.
All right. Every week, after we play a team, Ralph incorporates a slight bit of what that team did into our team in the next match. We play Burnley, and then we come out in this crazy block against Brighton. And it's because I think he's learning the league as he goes along. So I would like someone that knows the league. I can see your face on Monday. What's the issue? Go on.
Can I just ask one question, though, for to follow up what you said about Poch and his use of wingbacks? Was that Poch, or was it his overlord Leonardo?
Good shout.
Well, I don't know, Rebel. I suspect it's Poch because he's the manager. But I don't know.
The rumor is it's Leonardo that picked the team.
Yeah, that's been said for a long time now. I think with what you said about Poch, I think it's a valid point, safe bet, that kind of thing, and also about the wing backs yesterday. But the wing backs, look at their wing backs. They got a Portuguese guy from Sporting Lisbon, and they apparently are going to buy him now. They've made it. He's on loan, isn't he? They're actually going to buy him. He's fantastic. One of the best left backs out there, youth as well, really quality. And obviously on the other side, they've got the Moroccan guy who's just electric. And so they, and you talk about fullbacks. I mean, they're probably the best fullbacks in a team, left and right back, even up there with City's, and Liverpool's, I'd say. So yeah, you've got to utilize those guys in some way. Also to say, I do think I'm not disagreeing with you, Bath Time. I do agree with you about Ralph adapting and sort of soaking up knowledge, a bit like that. I don't know if you're into DC comics or anything, but like the android, he takes your powers. Once you use your powers on them, he will be able to use them himself. Do you know about that? Anyone? No? DC Comics, the android.
Yeah.
So you use power on him, it might hurt him. It's all like Doomsday, for example. You can't kill him the same way twice. That kind of thing. So the same price. I do agree with you in that respect.
Okay.
Because what we saw yesterday was a compact. It's like he invited pressure. They opened us up, Southampton and Burnley, but we invited pressure yesterday in the first half, especially. And I do agree with your point. We were expecting a 5 at the back, but they changed it, and we were under pressure for the whole first half. But we were compact, and I think fair play to Ralph because he did adapt and proved to be successful yesterday.
Right, guys, from us, Rebel, OMONDI, and Bath Time, thank you so much for coming back on the channel again. We will be seeing a bit more of you on the channel in the future as well. So, guys, like we said, all you got to do, hit that like, share, subscribe button, get involved in the comments, and we will be back on Friday for the preview show and then also the Friday night takeaway as well. So, guys, make sure the minute we set the link up, just set the reminder as well. From us at the Money Agenda.
Thanks to the guys in the comments.
Thank you all in the comment and have a lovely evening from all of us. Good night.